Welcome to the beach. It's the World Beach Ultimate Club Championships 2024 here on a slightly inclement weather day. Myself, Hannah Pendlebury, on the call alongside Sarah Sparks for a game in the Women's Division 3 SB of Czechia against Black Widows, representing the USA with a lot of international talent and flavour. And 3 SB, because of course we're just getting all of our generator going, powering up on our sideline here in the ULTI.TV arena in Portimão. 3 SB getting that first point on the board. Sparks, tell us what happened.
Yeah, so basically Black Widows coming out on offense. As you can probably see on the flags in the background, the wind has picked up today in comparison to yesterday. Really basically struggled to get moving on the zone. Did feel like the zone of 3 SB was very tight, even maybe potentially double teamy. So I can see that 3 SB look like they're going to be coming back out in this zone, but this time round Black Widows have the wind in their backs.
Well, Black Widows unfortunately throwing the turnover into the jaws of this zone. Toshnerova, one of the captains, of course, of 3 SB for a long time, and no stranger to the beach surface. A real vet coming back off some maternity leave. But this is the first time I've seen any zone being played on our ULTI.TV arena pitch, which I'm not surprised to see, especially today, but also from a 3 SB team. We know they love to play zone, certainly on grass. But it's all about patience. The first point, Black Widows through about 30 odd. Just little connections through the zone, but that one is a misconnection indeed. Sort of 2 players on that far sideline and throws between the 2. I think that one might have been meant for Jen Thomas, though.
Yeah, I do think Black Widows need to keep stretching it deep as the disc goes deep from Toshnerova. Open receive, but overcooked there and picked up by Black Widows.
Well, Toshnerova is someone you are going to see launch it. And of course, sister Sarah, who's got married and changed her name, but that's a beautiful pass and a layout just to secure it. Sandra Elsbach with the goal.
Yeah, like I said, just it's like they heard me for stretching the game deep as well. You saw that the zone of 3 SB was very focused around the handlers, so you just need to keep pumping 1 or 2 people to go deep every so often, and it was a really nice spot there from Black Widows to put it into the left corner. As we see here on the replay, oh, just picking it up from the ground, so that makes it 1-0. Just looking at the results from yesterday, 3 SB had 2 games, winning 13-11 against ZS from Switzerland. And then they lost against the very strong Swedish team Valkyria, 13-8. So it's a very respectable result. Black Widows, yesterday having only 1 game, however, a very tough game. Also playing ZS and losing 13-2. So this team just, they're trying to find the connections between each other, but also be looking to generate a D here, and it's well blocked.
Yeah, beautifully aggressive line being taken by Loriana Schneider. And that is something the Black Widows are going to have to continue to do, but just spills out of the chest, and a high release backhand. Very nice and easy, does it. Beautiful release from Rovakova.
Yeah, it's really tough when you make a turn over there on the end zone line. Any kind of cheeky backhand, especially with this wind, is going to be hard to stop. And we see here on the replay, a really nice around break, just a bubble. And unfortunately, I also saw it yesterday. The wind is harder than it was yesterday. The conditions are not as good. Weather forecast for today, not good either. So the sand is also going to be quite cloggy this morning. We had a nice little rainstorm on the, about half an hour before the game started, so this hand's going to be really, really hard work to run through.
Well, it's interesting, Sarah, because I actually would slightly disagree in terms of the actual amount of energy that you're going to get off the back of the surface. One of the keys in running on sand is to drive up with one's knees rather than push off the floor like you would on grass or indoor. So actually that more firm-footedness makes it ever so slightly easier in terms of propelling yourself forward. But of course, the change of direction is going to be even more difficult than it normally would be. So I think maybe some damp sand favors offense, but makes it even harder for defense. So smart plays from both sides, though. And so a couple of proper blocks, as well as just some early morning turnovers, getting used to the conditions. And there is one. Black Widows with another miss. And a short field gifted. Moving it very nicely. A couple of the Austrian pickups getting involved. That's Rodensteiner with the inside forehand to find the mark through. And 2-1. Oh no, 3-1 now for your 3SB.
Yeah, lovely technique there. Going upwind, you really need to get that low release on the disc. A beautiful little squat down. We'll see here on the replay is 3SB working it up that left side, recognizing that we need to squat. Work on your squats, people. It's not just about the really sharp flick of the wrist, it's also about the squats.
Yeah, get you sort of compass squat action involved if you're doing your strength and conditioning for this sport. But always have to train both legs, even though you pivot with usually just the one, depending on which handed thrower you are. We've got a couple of ambidextrous folks, of course, at the world level who can throw equally well with both hands. Have you trained your righty being a lefty, Sparks?
I've trained my righty backhand. I think you should always have the backhand of both sides in your arsenal. Whether I dare to actually throw it in a game is another question.
Well, Black Widows looking to try and just keep these passes threaded together. A couple of costly short field turns, but there is another one. This time it's the catch that goes awry. Banmula with a bit of a miss, but that is a beautiful arcing forehand. Really just sits that one up on the breeze. Another stat for Rahel Toshnerova.
I was going to say Toshnerova, you see it straight away. And as soon as the disc hits the ground, she's running to the disc, ready to pick it up. And this 3SB team obviously know each other very well from grass. They know the moment she's getting the disc, someone has to make a cut deep. It was really well spotted. Straight away, getting herself onto the stat sheet. Two assists. Great work.
Well, it's something that you really do see, that quick counter-attack. Every time that 3SB gets an opportunity to boost it, they pretty much are going for kind of the percentage play. And certainly against the more windy conditions that we're going to experience here on the second day of action, a bit of positional play never hurt anyone. We saw that actually at the other World Championships recently in a very windy surfers paradise on the Gold Coast. There's no shame in playing positionally when you've got windy conditions. So Black Widows, lovely upline cut from Lee. Now a little nod and head tilt for Lucy Chu. Good connection. Oh, great effort on the layout, but unfortunately, Elsbach can't quite get there. And Toshnerova, inside backhand. What a release that was, and makes it all the way to the tape. Visionary, and that one requires the recovery, but another on the board for 3SB. They are really running away with this first half.
Yeah, 3SB just clicking on all cylinders. You can see that Black Widows are starting to find a bit more flow on offense. There was some really good cutting downfield, but that disc just a little bit too far out in front. Black Widows being the second place vice champions of US Nationals this year. However, roster looking slightly different. A few more pickups. However, the whole point of Black Widows is to showcase players from the Asian ethnic minority backgrounds. A lot of very strong values from this team: sisterhood, humility, intensity, intimacy and trust. And I think you can figure out what that might spell, and I'm not going to say it on air, but great to have a team with such strong values. They're going to be needing to lean on these values as the week goes on.
Yes, the acronym doesn't translate to something suitable for broadcast, but it is a fantastic ethos. Of course, one of the players not on the Black Widows roster is one of the founders, Chrissy Hunter, a wonderful human who represented her nation. Well, she's got two nations, dual nationality, British and Hong Kong. one of those crossover field hockey athletes that weirdly tends to do very well translating to ultimate. That's a nice bit of aggressive movement from the backfield to start off Black Widows. Conejos, like a little dynamo in the center pocket. But a little lack of movement and a negative pass that doesn't quite connect. And 3SB again with a short field opportunity. And they just keep their eyes on the prize. A little bit later in the stall, but the option is delivered, and that will be another break. 6-1.
Yeah, Conejos and Schneider really working the offense up for Black Widows. You can tell that they are definitely the more experienced handlers. Really not afraid to break the force, move it around from 3SB's zone, but just, yeah, that loss of yards is acceptable, but unfortunately it was just behind Schneider, so couldn't really do anything to collect the disc. So 6-1 for 3SB. Widows not choosing to call a timeout. They're happy to continue playing. They just need to find these jitters. Maybe it's just worth taking a few deep shots. That deep shot in the first part of the game worked very well for them. You just don't want a turnover right in front of your front door.
It is very difficult. You're kind of gifting your opponent relatively easily. But of course, Toshnet over there with a hand up high. So regular appearances we've already mentioned on grass, but they also have a lot of cohesion together at the beach level. They played EBUCC back in 2018 here on the pitches in Portimão. That was quite an impressive finish to the women's division in that tournament. Didn't involve 3SB, although they took home the Spirit Award. But Widows looking to keep the first half alive, sorry. So of course the points cap here, 13 in total, so halves when the first team reaches 7 points or when 25 minutes of the game have expired. Lucy Chu takes on a spicy option towards the deep space. I like that as a look, but Jen Thomas didn't quite have the understanding of she being the option.
I was going to just say exactly the same thing. I do like that as an option. I think you do need to stretch this deep game. Black Widows, this line actually being the taller line, I was going to say some of the players on Black Widows are a bit smaller, but I don't hate the option. I think they need to keep expanding this as a choice, and it will work out for them.
Well, especially if you put a nice aggressive mark on Toshnedova, who throws the turnover. Now Lucy Chu looks around. This short field situation, love that, immediately looking for it. It's poached off, but there's going to be a option taken in a rather narrow channel.
Yeah, also on this side of the pitch, on the left-hand side of the pitch, this is where the wind is going to be pushing discs down. So actually, if anything, all of the throws on the left-hand side of the pitch need to come very late and very high. That disc just got absolutely bogged down by the wind.
So 3SB shooting against the breeze. That's a really nice option, but just a little bit too dicey as it sailed over the shoulder. So Widows now still looking to keep the first half alive. Solid high release. Lucy Chu nearly losing the disc with her own fake. Now, just trying to keep things patient. A little bit of going for the point and shoot. But Daitis clearly looking to try and gain yards, but 1/3 of the pitch left to advance. Well, nice hands high from Katarina Rashka.
That was also a really essential block because actually Rudetsis was free going deep. You could see a little nod of the head as she went deep there. And once again, Toshnerova just putting it deep, but this one's hanging and very well collected there by Rudetsis.
Chu Leading backhand, those are the connections we want to see. Lee was available for a little moment, and there we go, folks. Another on the board for Widows. Big play. Katarina Rashka was really going to work for 3SB on that point.
Yeah, some serious workhorse mentality there, really grinding it out in the end zone, and a really, really nice bid. Oh, you do see, though, the wind's knocked out of the 3SB player. I have to say it, this might be an unpopular opinion, but everyone seems to love layouts on the beach, but every time I do it, I just get wind myself. It's a completely different technique laying out on the beach in comparison to the grass and indoor. So I feel you. It's not nice getting the wind knocked out of your sails.
Sarah famously loves playing beach ultimate sparks.
No, beach is not my favourite, but I do commend those who really go all out on the beach, giving it everything, throwing their bodies on the line. But if you just land straight on your stomach, there's no sliding out like there is on the grass and indoor.
Yeah, once you're in the sand, it's giving you a nice big cuddle. I suppose it's also the lack of predictability of the kind of topography of the surface as you make that layout. To be fair, it's the only surface I do layouts on, Sarah. Although you kind of have that thing of if you don't end up getting the block or getting the disc, you just end up with a mouthful of sand, which is not always the most enthusing. High release for Kmetkova. And it's going to be a loopy launch backhand. Lots of airtime underneath it, but well held. And that one, I think, was technically straddling the tape for Volkova, but it's going to be good.
Yeah, goal there for Sarah Dushnerova. I actually crashed into them, both the sisters, in the playground before the tournament. #MomLife. Both of them were a bit apprehensive how the tournament was going to go. They've brought their kids with them. They are hiding currently on the sideline in one of the tents, Aaron and Ben, saying that they are the most influential players as well on this team. Lots of mums on this team.
They are. I mean, the boys are adorable, though.
Very cute. They are very, very cute. But yeah, they said they were a bit apprehensive, you know, not really knowing how this tournament was going to go. Going in with, I don't want to say low expectations, because I think 3SB know they are quite a strong team, but kind of just seeing how the tournament was going to go. Very small roster as well, only 11 players, so currently working out for them.
They've got those Austrian friends that have come across from the Vienna box to help them out, to add those extra couple of numbers. And if you're not familiar with the geography of Central Europe, the Czech Republic, or Czechia as it's now known, not too far away from Austria, just a short drive, especially compared to some of our friends coming across from Northern America, who will often drive for double-digit hours to get to tournaments. So Black Widows, oh, that's a really nice pass that looked like it might be going out of bounds, but just sails on the breeze to perfection. This is good connection from Black Widows. It'd be nice to see them with one person a little bit flatter, a challenging inside forehand taken on by Rudzaitis, but not work. And Toshnerova with, again, a relatively short field. 3SB, well, I think the force gone astray. It was an away force, but it's a near side throw for the goal for 3SB, and that will be our first point to take out of the half.
Yeah, the wind, well, obviously the viewers can't tell. Me and Hanny are currently stood on quite a high bit of scaffolding, and I feel like the wind has suddenly picked up. I don't know if you can probably see on the replay, there is a menacing black cloud there in the back corner. So I'm hoping we're going to stay dry. It's a great shot here from the cameraman or woman. But the wind is definitely picking up, and I think it's a smart choice from 3SB to continue coming out in this zone. Black Widows are now going to have to work it upwind. And a cute little shot there of Aaron looking at the sky with his mum.
Indeed. Well, he's having quite the little tour in his early toddler life, is Aaron, the son of Rahel Toshnerova. He was very patient with us at Windmill when his mum was commentating, because of course Toshti is one of ULTI.TV's own. But at the moment, Black Widows really finding themselves in a bit of a hole here. You can just see that kind of cohesion isn't quite there on day 2. They did struggle yesterday, but this women's Pool B could turn out very interestingly, because Valkyria, who we expected to do exceptionally well here at the World Beach Ultimate Championships, they've got a fantastic roster with a couple of extra tasty additions, took a loss to Torrijas, which is sounds very Latin, but is actually a Belgian outfit, largely WBUCC players. And they took that loss 9-6 to open up the tournament yesterday. So in terms of the results here, 3SB, if they can finish this one out quickly against Black Widows, have every opportunity to cause some kind of mischief with a 3-way tie perhaps.
Just looking here, I think there's been a bit of confusion about the half, because Black Widows started down the downwind side of the field, but now it looks like they've been, there's been some confusion about the half, as Black Widows are now going to be going out on defense downwind. So definitely going to be slightly more advantageous than going upwind on offense. So interesting. Curious to see if we're going to be seeing a zone coming out from Black Widows.
Well, I think they might have missed the half if we didn't, because we didn't have a particularly long break for it. So it's 8-2 and half was, well, should have been at 7, but I think we may have had a changeover of ends when we got to 8, because of course that is the number these players are more used to, because it's a slight different variation, because the overall points cap on grass, which is the dominant surface for Ultimate, is 15. You can hear the rain start to crackle in the background as that one gets run, but out of bounds. But nice to see a little bit more expansive action from Black Widows. Abigail Conejos couldn't quite get there.
Conejos with the run through D as well in this point. I think she's been fantastic for this Black Widows team, really working the handler space, very athletic, very fast, not afraid to go deep either. So I like that expansive play there from Black Widows, but the rain is really starting to go. And I completely jinxed us. Commentator's curse. As I said, the cloud was coming in.
No, it's not commentator's curse, Sarah. You saw that it was happening, and we will desperately try and pull our plastic in to avoid getting wet. And 3SB now working it up against the wind, but also the rain. Nice high grab for the next up, and that's going to work out in pretty fast fashion. I think that's Rottensteiner with the goal.
It would not be a World Championship of Frisbee if there wasn't some kind of weather issue.
I mean, you talk about jinxing it. I didn't think you did earlier, because you just spotted the cloud. You did the sensible outdoor thing of looking at the weather coming at you.
I'm British. What else am I supposed to do?
I mean, to be fair, speaking of beaches and ultimate stories, there was a Kaimana back in 2018 where an entire city of tent was destroyed. Well, anyway, entire Tent City was destroyed by the wind and the rain. But speaking of being British and being an ultimate player, there's a lot of camping that used to be involved.
It still is in Europe. It still is in Europe, mainland Europe.
I mean, I love a good camping tournament. It's a real vibe. You get to hang out with your friends. That's one of the wonderful things about being here in Portimão. It's obviously a wonderful little tourist pocket in the Algarve, and we do have lots of wonderful accommodation, beach bars, everything in walking distance. But walking distance from the goal line now a 3SB, but they're going to go for the hammer. That sail's a little bit too big.
Well, that's a very risky throw, especially with this wind. Hammers are going to get pushed down very quickly. But when you're 9-2 up, I guess there is room to take a few more risky choices.
I mean, you say risk, I say opportunity. And a nice diving grab. But was the toe in bounds?
That was a great grab there from number 7 of Black Widows, Makito. But I think the sideline are going to call it out, as we see here on the replay. Oh, I think she might. Oh, I don't know, you know. I think she might have had her outside foot down just as she was catching the disc. Slowing it down. Oh. Oh, I really don't know, you know, but they've called it out. I think that's also fair.
Well, I think possibly in the air when the possession was gained, but that's a lovely laser on the inside flick. My goodness, well, 3SP making quick work to get to double digits there. But yeah, that foot, if you're in the air when you have possession of the disc, when you make the catch, it's about your next point of contact, and that one was out of bounds. But 3SB really just continuing in the same fashion they started the game in. And I don't hate it as a strategy. A lot of these longer passes that are working out, they are paying rewards. And the other reward, of course, Sarah, is that if you can finish this game in just over half an hour, that means you get to go inside, you get to go back to your hotel, you get to
have a cup of tea.
I know.
Lovely. Have a swim, maybe, if you have an indoor swimming pool. Although, having said that, this cloud has rolled over pretty quickly. Steph has worked really hard to keep us dry, and I think it's stopped raining. I think the weather here in Portugal is very much about the rolling clouds, so it's not like what we're used to, a torrential thunderstorm, which is exactly what we want, really. If it's going to rain, let it be a rolling rain cloud.
Yeah, no tea, please. No thunder. We don't want any of that action because, of course, that is the one condition you're not allowed to play Ultimate in. So let's hopefully have no thunder and lightning. Very, very frightening. It does look dramatic, but it doesn't add any drama to the games, only to the scheduling. Nice inside shot for Syla. Otusio now doesn't have the high release and has an easy reset forwards to Syla. But that one thrown into the jaws of the defense, but a clap and a miss. Schneider unable to collect it. Silky lead pass and a nice aggressive line to it. But Rottensteiler with an interesting idea there.
At one point, Black Widow, I don't know whether it was accidental or intentional, but Black Widow started to sag in the lane, and I actually thought it worked quite well for them. Especially if you've got a few players who are struggling to keep up with some deep shots. There is no harm in using some switchy, saggy off defense.
Well, one of the early turnovers that Black Widows generated with the blocks, we see a great layout from Beth Muse, former teammate of ours.
Unfortunate drop there for Cornelius.
Inside goes through and wobbles away. This is turning into quite the grudge match and a timeout being taken. I like that call from Murcia. We'll take a moment of repose. Well, as the players take a break, we will as well, folks. Don't be going anywhere, though. Can Black Widows find their way back in the second half? Second half well underway here in the women's division at the World Beach Ultimate Championships. It's the third game for 3SB, but only the second for Black Widows. And I think that extra bit of cohesion together is paying some dividends here on the second day of action in Portimão. Myself, Hannah Pendlebury, on the call alongside Sarah Sparks. And a timeout being taken in active play, which I rather like, because that one was becoming a bit of a meat grinder, Sarah.
Yeah, I'm also a fan of a midpoint a timeout, just to recollect, get some energy back, figure out what you're going to do tactically. I don't hate that timeout call at all.
Well, a deep shot that goes a little bit further. I reckon that was potentially run downable, but BULA decides not to chase it.
And a good option as well. As I said earlier, we need to see a bit more of this deep game from Black Widows, especially going downwind. You really want to force 3SB into a corner. Really make it as hard as possible for them to work it upwind.
Indeed, was been very few points where 3SB have come out on offense, so that's why we have such a difference in the break chance tally. Because they've got repeated breaks on the run. Of course, I'm sure with their shortened roster, we've seen some of their Dream 5 O-line coming through, and that's a nice Dream double-handed block. A strategy to try and make Black Widows throw as many passes as possible, partly by playing the zone. Nice adventurous low backhand break. It's the perfect thing to do against this breeze. Oh, that one a little bit soggy, but makes it through to Rottensteiner. Krasova going to put a lot of gas under that one, and all of the flying in the world, but could not have anybody come down with it. Nice effort from Rashka. A relatively slow walk to the disc for Schneider. Has a beautiful separation. Nice sag off the front of the stack. Muse going to the knees. And a leader that just goes a little bit too far. A nice option to BULA.
We're getting ourselves here into coffin corner, as they like to call it, for 3SB. This is the corner I would not want to pick it up on as a handler.
Well, I wouldn't mind that one so much as the opposite side of the pitch, closer to our camera view, because of the diagonal nature of the wind. But it is very tricky all the same.
I guess you're getting sheltered a little bit also by the chairs of the stadium.
Indeed, our stands that were full of fans yesterday. I'm not sure we're going to get too many crowds watching this afternoon with the inclement weather, as that one sails past our Tusio.
A little cuddle there under the umbrella. Got to do everything you can to keep warm and dry, keep those hands nice and toasty to be able to catch these tough discs.
Well, a player having a hot game is the athlete with the disc just there, Abigail Conejos. A little pocket rocket at 4'11", and she's going to go big in the end zone and reel in the goal. Well, at long last, Black Widows in that point able to find a pass that's perfectly weighted.
Yeah, really, really nice throw there. And as you said, Conejos was one of the smallest players on the team, not afraid to go deep. You also saw that, yeah, like you said, pass was weighted. You even saw maybe in her head, she counted to 3 before even throwing it deep. So nice shot there from Widows, and a score, a long needed score after a bit of a lull in the game.
Yeah, we as two handlers ourselves, we're no stranger to having to do the count. That I have the wind behind me. I think I can throw this, but I have to wait at least 3 or 4 seconds to make sure that that one actually gets to the player rather than sails well over them. So 10-2, 3SB. Just need to plop 3 more on the board. Oh, sorry, 10-3 even. Having some internet refreshing issues. Nemekova with a big backhand release, but that one not quite as clean as Sister Rahel's have been.
I don't hate the choice either, in the sense of it's a hard throw. It's going to get pushed by the disc, but you've already seen that Black Widows have been really, really struggling on that line. So I don't want to call it quite hook and D, but if you can trap them in coffin corner, it's a really advantageous position. Ooh, and as I call it, there's a turnover on the first pass.
And a goal on the first pass for 3SB's response. I think this is just not Black Widow's morning. They've got Always Hungry on their shirts and on the short shorts, which is a great decal. Looks very fun, especially in the regionality of where it is on the shorts is a bit yummy. But I think they might have left their heads at breakfast. A bit of a slow start, and it's difficult to pull yourself back off the sand when you really did get a bit of a hammering in the first half. It's nice to see them try different things. Those deeper looks are better, but at the moment, I think the confidence has just been drained out of them.
But you do see as well in Black Widows that they do have some really nice flow. When they do have the handler movement clicking, it does look really, really good. It's just, I've seen some of these throws not coming out with the right amount of spin, making it really, really hard to catch. Cold hands, not great weather, maybe also a bit of inexperience. I do think also as well, if they can get some of these drops out of their system, they could get a few more points on the board.
Oh, absolutely, like I'm saying, it's not a lack of skill issue, it's just we're not seeing the best out of them here on our live stream this morning. There's that one, just a clap of doom for Schneider. Getting a lot of touches, but that sometimes results in a high turnover count. Beautiful throw from Toshnedova, and there is a piece of defense, but it's got enough spin that it makes it through regardless.
Oh, really unlucky there for Schneider. Got a hand to it, even backed it on a little bit potentially. A little bit of wobble out the disc, but still able to be collected by 3SB. So Black Widows going upwind offense. It's going to be a real slog. Try to work against this wind as it really is picking up.
Well, if you're 3SB, you know the game plan. The game plan is to just launch it on every opportunity. You've got the win behind you. You've got one more point to score. First match point of many. And I mean many. It's been a very difficult game for Black Widows, but 3SB riding the rails of the breeze almost to perfection. But look at this throw against the wind from Toshnedova.
Nice, like, oh yeah, just really got a bit lucky there, I would say. 3SB really, and what I do actually like as well, Schneider smiling to the camera, giving the camera a bit of love. It's all well and good.
Well, there is the turnover. Toshnedova picks it up and launches it. This for the game, and 3SB take the win here on day 2 of the World Beach Ultimate Club Championships 2024, the debut of this tournament. The Czechia team rising to the challenge. They've learned lessons from those 2 games yesterday. Black Widows with some thinking to do.
Yeah, 3SB just the stronger team, clicking on all of the connections that they had, not afraid to punt it deep, upwind, downwind. Toshnedova, Rachel Toshnedova in particular, having a very, very strong game, picking up the disc, commanding the offense, making quick work of this game. And like you say, Hanny, the game is over. It's not, they can go inside, have a cup of tea, give the kids a bit of a cuddle, and get ready for their next game.
Well, I mean, the game plan is for each of these matches at the tournament is to have fun, enjoy, win, repeat. And even though they haven't won all their games so far in this championship, 3SB looking like they just were more relaxed in that game, enjoying each other, enjoying the scenes here. And if they can get that win against Torrijas, it's entirely possible that they could top the group. Depending on, of course, how the results go. It was a 13-8 win for Valkyria against 3SB yesterday afternoon in one of the later game slots. But the pink flamingo jerseys coming out to the sounds here in Portimão in emphatic style.
Yep, 3SB playing Torrijas later today, so that's going to be a nail-biter around 3:30. Going to be, unfortunately, around the time when the weather is deemed to be the worst. So we are hoping, praying, keeping our fingers crossed, praying to the rain gods to please let us continue the broadcast.
If you fancy doing some sun salutes wherever you're watching this from, we would appreciate it. Get your yoga on, send us some good sunny vibes. But we're going to throw it down to a sideline interview with Stefan Rapazzo.
here with Rahel Toshnerova from 3SB after their first round victory. Rahel waking up 8:30 in the morning, some inclement weather. How was it getting up for this game this morning, day 2 of Worlds?
Just like every morning, Steph, we get up after about 5 to 6 times breastfeeding. The one child wakes up at 6, the other one at 7, and then we do our best to get on the field on time. But the weather, even though it doesn't look that great on camera, is actually nice and warm and very, very comfortable. The wind is not that bad.
Not that bad. Rahel, up to your old tricks, I would say. Your team quite used to what you're going to do. I think personally with the disc, you don't mind picking it up and jacking it. It worked for you today. Talk about how your team worked around your tendencies.
First of all, there's nothing old about me. Second of all, I cannot disappoint my fans, obviously. Who wants to watch boring give and goes and all that motion offense? No one's really interested in that. Props to my friend Valerio and Felix and all those guys. And so far, our team has been having fun, which is trying to be competitive while also enjoying what we like to do best, which is what we've managed to do. And I'm really hoping that we have some exciting games ahead of us.
Exciting stuff. They've got 2 more games in pool play. Thank you very much, Rahel Toshnerova. Congratulations on your win this morning.
Thank you. It's only one
Well,
game.
absolutely never
One more pool game.
disappoints, does Rahel Toshnerova on an interview. Love the calling out. Of course, folks, it is pretty windy. Toshnerova is just one of those athletes who's going to boost it no matter what. But the mum's getting it done in the morning. Yourself, Sparks, you were up a little bit, of course, to duties, getting ready here in the party in Portimão. But, you know, the inside look at what it's like to be a mum and an athlete.
Yeah, sometimes those 4 a.m. wake-up calls are really just what gets you going on the morning, isn't it? I think, like Rochelle said, you are going to be up, ready, we're raring to go, thinking about the game at 4, 3, 5 o'clock in the morning. Great to see them both back, both Raquel and Sarah, you know, having kids within 5 weeks of each other. Very, very commendable to be coming back onto this stage at the highest level. And, you know, just looks like they were never gone.
And look at that for sisterhood as well for Black Widows in the Circle post-game, the Spirit Circle getting involved with the kiddos. It was really a game that showed a lot of grit, even though I think the confidence wasn't quite there for Black Widows. Their trust and their heart and determination definitely very apparent here. So hopefully they can go on to get some wins in the latter stages of the tournament. But that was quite the game, folks. We will be bringing you all of the coverage every single day here, just in day 2 of the World Beach Ultimate Club Championships 2024. So far, the first edition ever in the world of this championship. What will unfold? You're going to have to join us for the rest of the games. A full slate today, including next up, we have a mixed division game. It's going to be Foo Fighters from Singapore versus Guam Butts from Guam itself. So make sure you tune in for that one. Live and free to watch on YouTube here from the beach in Portimão. We'll see you for the next one.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, Ultimate.
ULTI.TV.